Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Oh, I got some surprises for you tonight. But hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mad Church Disease Podcast. I am your humble host and servant, Marcellus McMillian. Thank you so very much for joining me on tonight. We are going to have yet another awesome program tonight. I do have a special guest, and you can see he is in the building, looking slim and trimmer than he ever has before. So we're definitely going to be able to have a good conversation tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new to this channel, I want to say welcome to you. We're most certainly going to have a great conversation. We've got a very good individual who can definitely have a great conversation. He is a writer. He is a preacher. He is so many things. He works in media. He does so many wonderful things. And so we just want to get into this conversation tonight. But I've got a couple of formalities, Mike, before we get started. For those of you that are supporting the channel, please make sure you hit this like button. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please make sure that you do so. For those of you that are going to be supporting the channel tonight, of course, the Cash App information is on the screen. You can definitely see that. And we'll try to see if we can get Mike's Cash App information before we leave this program tonight. So that way we can be a blessing to him as well. And we want to definitely jump right into it. So I need for you guys to settle in. If you got some popcorn, make sure that you get your popcorn and get your stuff ready, because we're going to have an awesome conversation. Now, for those of you that are unaware of what this conversation is going to be about tonight, let me see if we can put this up here. I want to make sure I get it here. All right. This conversation tonight is definitely about some information and some things that were said about Mike on a live program. And I think it's necessary for us to dispel myths and to eradicate lies. And so it's necessary for us to have this conversation. So this is the Mike that was spoken about in regard to on the Vloggers platform. And we're most certainly going to deal with that. Well, Mike, first of all, welcome to the program, Mike. We definitely want to give you an opportunity to speak. First of all, what's up, dude?
Hey, man, thank you. It's just good to be with you. And of course, when I sent you the video, it wasn't even to do a show. It was just to give you a laugh. But because I know what big fans you are of both Larry Reed and Obnoxious. so I thought you would just enjoy the video. But here we are.
You know why I thought it was good to dispel this? Because first of all, let me say this, Mike. People should be very careful about how they move in the world, because they never know who knows a person, right?
Right.
And it's I'm not one of these people who go out here saying I know this person and I know this person. I sort of keep my relationships private. I don't like, name dropping. That's not something I like to do. But when I heard this a while ago, did you just find out that this was said about you, or have you known about this for some time?
So this aired probably about a year ago. I haven't gone back and looked at the date. It didn't matter that much to me, but I was actually watching it live. And what started it all was that Obnoxious, because I'm not going to call him by his real name, Obnoxious is what he chose.
Right.
And what he became known for. And it's interesting that, especially in the Bible, names are very significant to your character.
Oh, absolutely.
And your nature. Your name is your nature. So even things like praying in the name of Jesus does not mean saying in the name of Jesus after your prayer. It means to pray in the nature of Jesus.
The nature, the character, the disposition.
And it's interesting that that gentleman chose the name Obnoxious after his nature.
Absolutely.
But he was on, and if you'll remember, when Bishop Carlton Pearson died, before he died, Obnoxious did a story that he had died when he had not died.
Right.
And Ricky Smiley surprisingly saw the post or came across it somehow and reported it on his radio show, his national radio show.
Wow.
And that just ticked me off. especially that Ricky Smiley would not know that anything that you get from Obnoxious
right.
is not true.
Well, and here's the funny thing, Mike, not to cut you off, but see, they all watch us vloggers. They hate us all so much that they keep watching. And
Yeah.
and we are fully aware that they all watch. But I like Ricky, and you know, I think that's the thing too with media right now. Nobody's trying to be right with the story. They just want to be first with the story.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
know, and so even in this vlogging sphere, this is what we're having to deal with. And so I definitely can understand what you're saying, but yeah, didn't want to cut you off there, but
Yeah. So on the show, he was making excuses for why his story was not true, and he was lying about the excuse,
right.
saying that, well, what had happened was Bishop Pearson had died in hospice and they brought him back. That never happened. I was there.
Right.
That never happened.
I know you were there.
He said he got the story from the family. No family member of Carlton Pearson has ever had a conversation with Obnoxious, I can guarantee.
Right.
So so I texted Larry. I was in the comments, but Obnoxious blocked me years ago for calling him out for judging someone's appearance. He did a whole story on someone's appearance, and I just questioned, where do you what gives you the authority to judge anyone's appearance?
Exactly.
And so he blocked me. So that's funny to me, because that means anything that he has to say about me,
you won't hear
as a result of the video I posted or the video we're doing tonight, I'll never see, because I can't see it because he blocked me. But so I texted Larry that everything that he was saying about Carlton Pearson was a lie. And I know this is the one show that I can say this on, that he was a lying piece of shit. I did say that. And listen, Larry actually read him my text on the air live.
Well, let me tell you something.
In the video, he just goes off on me.
Right. And I'm going to play the video in a second. I'm going to play the video, Mike's.
Oh, okay.
So
I'll save this part for after.
Yeah, so that way we can dispel all of the lies all in one difference. But let me say this. And I'm not asking you to say a word right now. I'm gonna say what I have to say. You don't have to say nothing, okay? There were a lot of lies around Carlton Pearson's funeral from a lot of these vloggers. They were saying all kinds of things that the rest of us know were not true. Especially those of us who had conversations and have been around Carlton Pearson's ministry his entire life. It became quite frustrating to listen to these vloggers say all kinds of things that you know were not true. And I don't care who the person was. And I'm choosing my words very carefully because, you know, I get accused of attacking certain folks. But let me just say, there was a lot of lying, and we know you were lying. And we could call you out for your lies. If I really wanted to be a piece of dirt, I could call you out, but I'm not that kind of person. You know, I mean, there was so many lies, and it was just unfortunate to watch all of these people who just discovered Carlton Pearson all of a sudden become all the experts on Carlton Pearson. It was disgusting. And to this day, and you and I have talked about it, and I'm gonna move on because I can already feel my blood boiling. I've already talked to you about this. It's just disgusting how these people came out here and now they just become Carlton Pearson experts. Oh, I know Carlton, you know, he told me all of these things, and it's just, Mike, it's absurd, and it pisses me off, but that's a whole nother matter.
Yeah.
Let's show this video. Let's pull this video up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we're here tonight. So Mr. Obnoxious decided to go on this program. Many of you have seen this this program. Let me remove this one. We're gonna which one am I doing here, Marcellus? Let's go here. No, we gotta go here. Then we're gonna go here. Wait, Marcellus, there it is. All right. So Mike posts this video. Mike posts this video, and he sends me this video. Of course, I'm laughing, But then when I saw it, I said, you know, it's not really fair for somebody to come out here and say all these kind of things about somebody. So I said, hey, do you want to come on and just have a conversation about these 14 or 15 lies he said in a matter of 1 minute? And you were like, hey, why not? So let's listen to the lies, and you just tell me when you want me to pause it, and I will pause it. Now I'm going to pause it for fair use rights acts and all of that good stuff, because, you know, people love to strike my channel. But this ain't on their channel. So if they striking, they show be striking the wrong channel. That's for that. But let's go here, ladies and gentlemen, and let's take a look at this. Let's go.
Williams said, as relates to Carlton Pearson, you are a lying piece of shit.
Who is Mike? Who is
he worked with Carlton Pearson for years, the white man. He do all the camera stuff.
Oh, the one from Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, please. Yeah. You're the cracker that destroyed the tape of me and Bloomer.
Now let's stop right there. First of all, what I get really amazed at is the initial response is you the cracker. Now, Mike, I'm gonna be honest. This is the stuff that kills me. William is such a conundrum to me. Because here is somebody who claims to be a blood-washed believer, right? And I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he ain't blood-washed. I ain't going down that road. I don't have a heaven or hell to put nobody in, right?
Right.
But he starts off by calling you a cracker. Now, this is supposed to be your brother in the Lord. You understand what I'm saying? And then he says, you got rid of the tape between him and Bloomer. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, is he referring to the Word Network interview that was done between George Bloomer and himself?
Yes, and that is an interview that I filmed and edited back in, I think, 2012. And so you see the first lie counter went up because number one, I didn't destroy anything. Number two, this is not 1992. We don't do tape.
Right.
This was 2012. We do digital files.
Correct.
There is no tape to destroy. So that was the very first thing. What happened was after we filmed that interview, we let him know when it was going to air. It aired on the Word Network, and I guess he wasn't intelligent enough to record it.
Correct, because he's not.
So he contacted me, Bloomer, and the Word Network to get a copy of the show. And I kept referring him back to Bloomer or the Word Network. It's their show. Right. I just edited it and filmed it, but it's their property.
Correct.
So apparently they would not give him the show, and he threatened to sue the Word Network, Bloomer, and me.
Wow.
For a copy of it, and I told him good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck. Now, Mike, because you know this is hilarious to me because I know the history of some of this. And you got to pardon me because I'm a little goofy and I will start laughing every now and then. So just forgive me. Now, Mike, if you know William McCray, you know he doesn't understand social media or how to work anything, okay? The only thing he knows how to work is his mouth. He doesn't know how to do anything. And when you talk about social media or downloading videos or or going behind the scenes and doing any SEO or anything that has anything to do with digital marketing, media, whatever, he doesn't know how to do any of this stuff. So him telling you about a cassette tape, like it's some sort of, 8-track kind of situation that we're about to go back in time with, it just goes to show you his lack of understanding. And I have tried one occasion. I had a phone call with him. Quick story, Mike. When he was so upset and him and Larry were no longer friends at one particular point, he, his website and all this stuff had gotten taken down. I agreed to help him through someone else, Daryl Moore, who's in the chat. I said, as long as you don't use my name, I will help you put your website back up and I'll help you do all your stuff. This man was so disrespectful, Mike. He started talking to me like crazy. I mean, just crazy. I said, oh no, I refuse to help this man. I couldn't understand it. So the mere fact that you could even have a conversation with him is astounding to me. But anyway, that's just me.
It wasn't a long conversation. I promise you that.
So that's lie number one, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on.
And I'm not a liar, and you're a drunk, and you do coke.
All right, so let's go here, Mike. You're a drunk, and now you do cocaine. Now, let me just say this, because even though I'm gonna let you clean it up, but this is just how my brain works. Even if you did cocaine, even if you did whatever he's accusing you of, first of all, that's none of William's business. There is all sorts of things out on the internet about William and his activities on the internet. All you have to do is a good Google search, and you can come up with all kinds of pink bumps and all kinds of stuff. You find, listen here, Mike, hilarious. I mean, it's hilarious. So here we go. You're a liar, Mike.
You know, if Obnoxious limited himself to talking about things that were limited himself to not talking about things that were none of his business, he wouldn't have anything to talk about.
Yeah.
Because everything he talks about is none of his business. But notice that lie number 2 was, I'm not a liar.
Right. And he is a liar.
And he is a liar. I mean, I don't know if I know a lot of people still follow him for whatever reason. I don't know if anybody actually believes anything that he says anymore, because he's been proven wrong so many times.
Right.
And it's a sad thing when today we celebrate or make entertainment out of mental illness.
Right.
And especially church folk. And it's sad that it is entertaining, because he's not being exploited. He exploits himself.
Right.
But it's sad, number one, that he does that. You know, so much of what he says just comes out of self-delusion, or as Andrew Caldwell taught us, derusiona. He's derusiona. First of all, in saying he's not a liar.
Yeah.
But when you start off by saying I'm not a liar, then every lie you tell after that, you are people who don't know him and would listen to it would think I am all of those things.
Right. Well, it's kind of like Larry Reed getting on his platform and saying, "Oh, there are no lies ever told on this platform." You know, he's actually said that before. Everything that this man is saying right here is a lie. Yeah. It's a lie. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we count up 15 of them in less than 2 minutes. And after I finished it, and it had already gotten some views, and I didn't want to destroy those views, I realized it should have been 16. I could have gone back and thrown in another one.
Wow.
But I did not make this video to defend myself, or I would have made it a year ago.
Right. And you didn't ask to come on here. That was my doing.
Yeah, I just wanted to expose that we are making entertainment of somebody that is a pathological liar. I wanted to show that the man says, I'm not a liar, and then lies just flow out of his mouth like water. He doesn't even think about what he's saying. He doesn't have to. That's how easily he lies. I will say, since I am on this program, that I have been drunk. I have never been a drunk.
Right.
There's a big difference. And I haven't even been drunk. Huh?
I've been drunk too, Mike.
Yeah. I haven't even been drunk in more than 35 years. I have never done coke. I have only seen coke once in my life. And when I saw it and realized what it was, I said, time to go. That just wasn't something that interested me in any way. I had seen too many movies of people doing coke and dying. And that wasn't on my plan for that evening. And then there's more coming. He calls me a dope fiend.
Let's go. We got time.
That.
Hold on. Let me put him back up here. Hold on. Oh, this is interesting.
I
Tell-
like Mike. Mike's a
Tell
nice
that
guy.
Mike is a dope fiend.
Most people doing dope are like skinny. He's like a fluffy guy.
Yeah, he's fluffy because it some of that stuff make you hungry. Please.
William,
You ain't gonna give no cracker no grace. Ain't never had nothing. Can't preach. Made your money on the back of Negroes.
Now, Mike, I'm gonna stop right here because now the reason why I'm gonna stop right here, you ain't never had nothing.
I've never had none.
You ain't never had nothing.
No, but
Now-
apparently I got it all off of the backs of black people. Everything that I have, which is nothing, I got off the backs of black people.
But you ain't never had nothing.
Right.
So you got all of this nothing on the back. You got all this nothing on the backs. It's insanity. It's insanity. Now, let me just say this, and I'm gonna say this because I love you and I love Bishop Pearson. So let me say this. This is where it's important to know the history of the things that you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
This is also important to understand the history of the people who surrounded Bishop Pearson. Mike, from my earliest remembrance of you, Mike, was so many daggone years ago. But one of the things that comes to mind immediately was Dimensions Digest, which was a magazine. Oh yeah, that we all used to get to come to our house, right? Where you, if I'm not mistaken, Dimensions Digest came to be because of you. Is that not correct?
Well, no, but I was involved from the beginning. It didn't come because
correct.
of me.
But you were in the process.
I was a contributor in the beginning, and I was the managing editor about midway through to the end. Yeah.
And managing editor means you was pretty much running the Dimensions Digest magazine.
Yeah. I was contacting the people for articles. Right. I was the one deciding what goes in each issue. Yes, that's true.
That's my point. The point is, Mike, you have been there with Bishop Pearson for such a long time, and you've become such an integral part of the ministry and what was going on in the ministry, that for him to just simply say these types of things is just infuriating. It just irritates me to my soul. Let's talk about this. Make your money on the backs of black people. let's have a conversation about it. Now, you're not going to say this, but I'm going to say this. One of the things that makes you so valuable, Mike, is you're very good at what you do. Let's just be frank about that. Anybody who has watched any of your work knows you are extraordinary with your work. Now, because you are surrounded by and have been introduced to so many individuals, and a lot of those individuals happen to be black, but I'm pretty sure you've done some work with some white folks too, right? I'm sure you have.
I have. I can think of a couple of ladies right now. One I'm doing a shoot for on Wednesday that I do every year. That she's not a preacher, but yes, I have. I've done work for white preachers, but most of them are black because that is my circle.
Correct.
It has nothing to do. First of all, if I was out to make money, I wouldn't be seeking out any preacher to make money, because even the millionaire preachers don't like to pay. What?
They don't like to pay.
So it is impossible to get rich off the backs of any preacher.
Yeah.
Much less the preachers that I work with.
I ain't even gonna say nothing. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. Now, Mike, let me tell you why this bothers me. The way that William has made his money for so many years is off of the scandals and the backs of black church folks. Okay. Sure. So for him to come out and make these types of statements, and see, this is why it's so ironic. And it's the cognitive dissonance for me that drives me so crazy with these people, because it's like, dude, you've made all your money on the backs of black preachers. And let me tell you something. You may not even know this, Mike. He hates dark-skinned black people. He calls them all sorts of names. I mean, it's atrocious, the things that comes out of William's mouth about black people. But he claims to, being such love with black people, and it depends on the crowd and the person he's sitting with, because he runs black people down, dark-skinned black people down into the ground, and don't have a child out of wedlock. Oh, your kid is a bastard.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just saying, this is the language that he uses, and this is the thing that just kills me with this dude. And I'm sorry, but birds of a feather flock together, and we all know who keeps clucking together over there. And I don't need to say no names. You know exactly what I'm saying. Moving right along, I'm gonna press play. I'm gonna press play.
And then ain't he the one over there with that sissy Todd, or what, the boy with the hips or whatever?
Todd.
The boy that did the spit.
What's his name? Todd.
Who cares what his name is? Got that foul spirit and hips wide as the state of Texas.
Is it Todd?
Wore that shirt. Todd, yeah. Talking about he was raised up. Mike Todd.
Mike Todd. That's it, Mike Todd.
Yeah, took his wife over there.
All right. So you're over there with that Mike Todd. Oh, wait, you didn't get to see that. Wait, I didn't put it up on the screen. I'm sorry, y'all.
Audio.
Did you guys hear the audio? Okay, good. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Here's what he said. Mike, you went over there with that Mike Todd, the boy with them big old hips, and and you went over there and you helped him, the spit guy.
I can tell you that I have known Mike Todd since he was a very small child.
Mm-hmm.
Very small. I have watched him grow up. I watched him become the youth pastor at that church, and eventually became the pastor of that church, and became a absolute phenomenon. And really, the bloggers like Obnoxious and others are only helping to spread his popularity.
Absolutely.
Because some people watch their shows and go, "Ooh, I like that. I like that illustration he gave." I don't know where these people, I guess they missed the whole Bible where Jesus spoke in parables. And almost every Mike Todd sermon is just an illustrative parable.
Right.
So I don't know what their problem is. However, I have never been to Mike Todd's church until Bishop Pearson's funeral. And then I went back 2 days later, which was Sunday morning. 2 days later, I went back because the bishop of the church invited me to come back and asked me to come back, and I did. But I've been to his church under Mike Todd's leadership exactly twice, and one was for a funeral. I have never worked for Mike Todd. I've never worked with Mike Todd. Never. And that was just something so stupid, because there's no way that he could have known either way. He just assumed, because we're both in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I guess, and he's black, so I must have run over there to work for him.
We know how you love these Negro preachers, Mike. So you just run it over to the.
Oh, there's one. Let me go.
Yeah, you done made, right. You done made all your money on their backs, but you ain't got nothing. So
never had nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of a little crazy there. But these are the lies that he's telling, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna let you hear the audio. Here's the rest of it, you guys. We're down to the end of it almost.
To some island or something like that, and she wanted to show herself in a bikini and be a first lady at the same time. All that confusion. He ain't never did nothing but use black men. He's
heard
an old racist, and I'll tell you to your face.
You an old racist, and he gonna tell you to your face.
Hadn't done that. I should have put that as another lie, because he hadn't done that.
Well, wait a minute, Mike. Well, here's the thing. Are you a racist who work with all of these Negroes, but you so racist, Mike, that you just love being around all of these Negroes?
Yeah, I can't. So it's hard to wrap my brain around that, but I also can't sit here and, if a white person defends themselves over the allegations of being a racist, then there is just a whole lot of black people who are going to assume, oh,
Right.
see, the fact he's defending it means he is a racist. So
Right.
I won't defend myself. I think my work and my life and
Pretty much.
everything that I have done kind of speaks for itself. I really don't think a lot of these is okay. We all know Larry Reed, right?
Right.
Is Larry Reed going to tell Obnoxious, I like Mike, if I was a racist? Because Larry Reed does not like racists. Not white racists.
Well,
He's
yeah. Well,
not a big fan.
Well, he seemed to. Well, let me move on. I'm not gonna comment on that. This man makes. Listen here. Mike, I think you're correct in your estimation that Larry doesn't like racists, but I'm just going to tell you, these people are weirdos. This is the only way I can say this to you. These people are weirdos, and I hate to say it this way, but they're so weird. You know, if you look at the two people that are on this screen, Mike, they're weirdos. And it's just crazy to me. Now I know some people love Larry and they're gonna roast me in the comments, but let me just tell you, they both just strike me as weird. And here's the thing that I don't like about Larry: when other people come on his platform and they talk about other people, especially if you're a friend of Larry's, he never defends his friends. He just lets these people say these lies. He just lets them say all kinds of stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, if that's really your friend, and that's what makes me think sometimes, Mike, that he's full of it. Because when the man said that you was on cocaine and you a drug addict, Larry just, oh, William. And then he says, but Mike's fluffy. That's it. That's his defense of you. You're fluffy. And you know what? And I say, now, wait a minute. And then I'm like, okay, now, wait a minute. If you're my friend, I'm going to defend you and let you know I've met this individual. I've never seen them do any drugs. They've never appeared to be high to me. I don't know where you're getting this from. You might want to go back and get some more information, get some better information. And then here's my other thing. What he's angry at you because he wanted a VHS tape of his George Bloomer interview that he could have recorded himself. All of this is for a cassette tape.
Yeah. Well, you know, and here's the thing too. He spends every waking moment of his life talking about everybody, right?
Yeah.
But cannot handle being talked about.
Oh, you got that right.
Especially directly.
Right.
For Larry to read a text, and I'm on, like, if he hadn't blocked me, he could have read the same comments in the chat because I wasn't hiding my feelings about what he was saying.
Right.
But you know, bullies cannot handle being bullied. Yeah. Bullies cannot handle a punch in the nose. That's, you know, everybody's father has taught their son that was being bullied at school, just punch him in the nose. He'll back off.
I'm gonna ask this question because even though I shouldn't answer this question, but just because of I know you're a smart man. Here we go. Watch this. Here's a question, Mike. Well, since we're talking about it, why was the tape withheld, Mike? Given you're in the back office, you're in the back office over there, Mike. You got the tapes. So why was the tape withheld from him?
Well, it's not my business to give him the tape. My business was done. My business was to film the interview, edit the interview, send it to the Word Network.
Correct. So it was the property of the Word Network, correct?
It has nothing to do with me at that point. It's the property of the Word Network and Bishop George Bloomer.
Thank you. So there is your answer. And you all need to understand something. If William actually knew how to do contractual agreements and paperwork, if he would have done the interview with George Bloomer, he could have had an agreement drawn up that he would have received a copy of the interview. And if he'd have had his paperwork, his business, his LLC, and all his things together, he could have gotten a copy that would have been in the agreement of the interview to get a copy of it himself. But it's kind of weird how, you know, this guy, I don't know, these people are weird.
And what person, knowing they're going to be on national television,
right,
And being on the Word Network in 2012 was still kind of a big deal.
Right.
What person wouldn't have recorded the show?
Yeah. Or had somebody to record it for him.
Somebody record the show for you. If you don't, maybe he didn't have a VCR.
Oh, I didn't think he,
You know,
because
I'm
he
not the only person that never had nothing.
I don't, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Now, Mike, you can't be doing me like that now. You know, now wait a minute. Listen, I don't think you can have a VCR in your extended stay if you're in one of them like motels, hotels, Holiday Inns. There is no VHS tape. That's all I'm saying. There's no recording up in there.
Well,
you don't have your own TiVo.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think TiVo was really big back then. I think we were in the TiVo age. This dude, I tell you, it's hilarious. All right, we're down to the last. We only got a few seconds. We're 1 minute 42. It's only a 1 minute 59 seconds. Here we go, Mike.
Mike, he lost
and what
weight.
pastor is gonna say somebody
He lost weight.
Is SHIT, baby? Well, if I'm SHIT, I'm sure good looking with it.
Another lie. Another lie. Mike.
That's my favorite lie of all.
He good looking with it, Mike.
He's good looking with that SHIT.
Oh my God.
That he's the best good looking piece of SHIT in the world.
Yeah, this is some interesting stuff. I feel like this is the stuff he thinks back in those days he was in his heyday, I guess. And, you know, because in his mind, all of these vloggers and all these people, they all think they're so world famous, Mike. Everybody in the world knows them. I mean, it's just incredible. But here's my thing. To see somebody do 15 lies on you. Now, this is just a general question. We got lie counter 15. Now, you said there was a 16th lie.
Yeah,
right?
The 16th lie was he said, Mike, he said that sissy Mike Todd. Now, Mike Todd might not be the poster child of toxic masculinity, but Mike Todd is not a sissy.
Right.
He might wear some things that other people may not wear, but Mike Todd is not a sissy.
Right.
So that's another one that I should have put up at the time. Another ding right there.
Yeah, and that would have been called defending your friends and the people that you know and love and care for. So yeah, that's that. Now
he did say he had hips as big as Texas, and I put up a ding there because his hips are literally not as big as Texas.
Right. Well, you know,
I understand exaggeration,
right?
But an exaggeration is a literal lie.
Right.
So while we're dealing with lies,
right,
that was just another lie. So I called that one out.
There's a lot of lies William has told. At one particular point, I don't know if you know about it, Mike, but let me just talk about. There's a legal battle going on with Bishop T.D. Jakes and a man by the name of Dwayne Youngblood.
Yes.
A while ago, William made a statement that there was a photograph of Bishop Jakes wearing a thong holding on to a peach cobbler. That's what he said. Okay. And everybody's been, can you imagine this stuff? This is the stuff he says. And
I don't even want to. I don't even want to.
This is the stuff this man says, and this is why no one can take him serious. It's like, why would you get on national on the internet and make those kind of statements? Are you insane? You must be insane. That's incredible to me. It's incredible to me.
And if there was such a picture, he would have posted it.
Oh, he most certainly would have. Man,
so the fact that he did not means there is not.
And we have not seen anything that both of these ninjas have told us in regards to T.D. Jakes. And that's therefore T.D. Jakes is battling it out in court right now. Now, Mike, I have another exclusive. I don't know if you're going to fall down, but ladies and gentlemen, this is Mike. Mike is actually going to be preaching. Hold on. Did you put your commercial up on your YouTube channel or no?
I did.
Okay, let me go over there. Let me find it. Hold on. Let me put because I want to run this commercial so people can see this commercial. Hold on.
I
And
think
let's
it
talk a
would be
little bit
right.
about here. I got it. I got it right here. Let's talk a little bit before I play this commercial, Mike, because you've written a book. Talk a little bit about your book. How are things going with the book? Because when you first wrote the book, you came on the platform and we talked a little bit about it. But what's going on with that at this point? What's happening?
Well, the book is called The Cult of Christianity. And I can tell you that if you want to be a bestseller, calling a book that's sold to Christian people, The Cult of Christianity, is a really bad way to do it.
Right.
I knew that as I was writing it. I knew, first of all, the people who agree with the book don't feel the need to get it. And the people who disagree with the book would never bother to even
they would never buy
read a page of it, because God forbid they should learn anything when their cult has been doing so well for them up to now.
Right.
But I wrote the book because I wanted to introduce truth into the church, because we have believed a lie for so long, and so many lies, that when we hear truth, we immediately reject it as a lie.
Oh, yeah.
We have been in heresy so long that when we hear truth, we immediately call it heresy. When in fact, most people running around calling anything heresy have no idea what heresy is.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know what it is.
They thought Carlton Pearson was a heretic. But I will say this, they think I'm a heretic, but we are. Because heresy is a view that goes against the generally accepted view of the time. So the generally accepted view of the time is fundamentalist evangelical Christianity.
Ooh.
So of course, anything that is not that is heresy.
Oh, I don't know if
Christianity itself was heresy when it began, because the generally accepted view at the time was Judaism.
Right. Oh.
Paul was a heretic because he wrote the doctrine of a brand new religion.
Right.
Jesus was a heretic because not because he created a new religion. He did not. He did not create Christianity. He's not the founder of Christianity.
Right.
He does not endorse Christianity. It has nothing to do with the Christ.
Right. And God is not a Christian.
But because God is not a Christian. Jesus is not a Christian. Jesus does not follow himself. He is not a member of his of his so-called church.
Right.
But Jesus did throughout the Gospels constantly question what the Jews believed. Have you not heard it said, but I say?
Right.
Today that's heresy.
Correct.
If I'm challenging what you understand about the Word of God, which it is not, then that's heresy.
Right.
So when people call me, call Carlton Pearson, call D.E. Polk, these various people heretics, I wear it as a badge of honor. But I do promise you there is truth. It's well researched. I challenge a lot of things that we understand and take for granted, including and primarily the lies that we believe about God, Jesus, and the Bible. Right.
I'll tell you something funny. I'm not to get into the weeds of this, because God forbid, if you say this girl's name 3 times, she'll appear. But there's been some fighting going on over the last couple of days on the internet in regards to this young lady. But I was watching a video, Mike, and the man said that there is no misogyny in the Bible. He said, I kid you not, Mike, I almost blew a top. Listen to me. When I heard it, I literally laughed out loud. And I said to myself, where in the world could someone who is studied and learned make a statement that there's no misogyny in the Bible? I'm like, he said, oh no, it's all perfect. That's what he said, Mike. It's perfect. When Paul told them all the women to be quiet and don't say nothing, there was no misogyny in those statements. He would no, it couldn't possibly. I laughed out loud, but I just had to say that on the back of what you said. This is what's happening, and this is the stuff that is being fed to so many people. But I've got another exclusive. I don't know if you're gonna stick around for this one.
Yeah, I'll stick around.
Thank you so much for coming up, sir. I don't know how big. Yo, you guys, let me give you. Oh, let's play this commercial, and I'm gonna also give you guys some other stuff. Wait, Mike, before you see, my brain is fried here. Let me show you guys this. Let's share this screen because Mike is actually going to be preaching. Because of course, you know, William McCray says he can't preach. He ain't got nowhere to go preach. But he will be preaching.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Williams. If you are in the Atlanta, Georgia area, if you are in driving distance of Atlanta, if you are in flying distance of Atlanta, come out Sunday morning, June 22nd at 10 a.m. I am going to be speaking at my home church, Spirit and Truth Sanctuary, with my dear friends and my pastors, Bishop D.E. and Pastor Brandy Polk. I have spent months preparing and cooking this meal, so I hope you're not fasting, because chefs don't like it when you don't eat their food. But as Bishop D.E. so often says,
eat what you can tonight.
And as Bishop Carlton Pearson often said, get what you want, and I mean get plenty. That's Sunday morning, June 22nd, Father's Day at Spirit and Truth Sanctuary. I cannot wait to be at my church home with my church family, with my pastors, Bishop D.E. and Pastor Brandy Polk. And I cannot wait to hear what I have to say. I'll be there. Hope to see you there too.
All right, guys. So that's one of the things that we can talk about that's going on with Mike. So Mike has that coming up. I want you guys tonight, if you can, I'm going to put Mike's Cash App information into the chat as well. If you want to be a blessing to Mike, make sure that you do so. I would appreciate anybody that would like to support Mike's work. You guys can most certainly do that because y'all know he ain't got nothing and he done made all his money on the backs of black people. So he needs all the help he can get. So you all support the channel, support his work. And I appreciate you, Mike. To be honest with you, sir, thank you for coming up here. Thank you for allowing me to talk about this. You know, I know some people get a little nervous around the channel because they think I don't know what they think I'm going to do. But I appreciate you. There's a whole bunch of interviews that we have coming. And, you know, one of these days I want to be able to sit down with DE and talk about something, but I want to talk about something really, really deep. And I think I might have shared it with you, what I wanted to interview him about. But I don't know if he's ready to talk about it. But I definitely want to sit in the same room with him. So I might have to make a trip over there.
He's getting ready. He's getting ready.
He's getting ready. Good. Because I definitely want to interview him, you know, because there's a lot of stuff to that story. There's a lot of crevices. And I think there's a lot of places in his story that could really irrigate the souls of a lot of people. There's a holy, bred, breathed word in his story that a lot of people need to hear, and they need to see how resilient he is through his story. So, you know what I mean? Because to be honest with you, I look at it more or less about his resilience, more or less than anything else. You know what I'm saying? And to go through some of the stuff that he's gone through. So I'm coming to Atlanta, Georgia for that interview. I want to sit in the same room over there and have that interview. So I want to thank you so much, Mike, for coming up. I don't know if you're gonna stick around because we got this is going to be a little bit long. This portion coming up might be a little bit longer because we want to talk about, is Larry Reed running? It sounds like some Jim Jones stuff that I just heard here.
Well, I'll say this. I will definitely stay tuned in. But Larry has always been very nice to me. And
right.
So I don't even want the look on my face at certain things to be misinterpreted in any way. So I'll jump off, but keep watching.
But you know what? That's the beautiful thing, Mike, about knowing that about you and your friendship with Larry. I can still have my conversations with you, and we can still be respectful of one another and be mature in those conversations. And so I love and appreciate you for that. So thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Give a digital applause to Mr. Mike Williams. And if you're supporting, his Cash App information is on the screen at this present time. You guys will be able to bless his Cash App and his information. If you want to get a copy of his book as well, you guys can reach out to him and also order a copy of that book. I'm actually going to be doing a sort of book study. And this is another question I wanted to ask you. Mike, have you ever read Frank Viola's Pagan Christianity before?
No, I haven't. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I think you might want to read that. I call it the red pill. It'll definitely take
Oh,
you out
wow.
of the matrix. It's a little red book, but it's awfully powerful. Him and George Barna actually did that book together. And so it's a really good book, and I think you might like that. But thank you so much.
I'll say in closing that my book is on Amazon. It's available through me if you contact me directly, but you can get it on Amazon, and the audiobook is on Audible as well.
Are you still doing signed copies if they order it from you?
Yeah, if they get it from me, I can also sign their copies. Yes.
And you guys know how I am. Get a signed copy. So reach out to Mike and get a signed copy. You don't want a copy from Amazon. You want one that has a signature on the inside. So y'all make sure y'all get a signed copy of the book, because I always like doing that. And you never know who you're gonna bless and pass that book off to, and they can actually have a signed copy of the book. So I appreciate you, Mike. Thank you for coming up and dispelling these lies. I appreciate you. You all reach out to Mike. Let's celebrate Mike on tonight. God bless you, and I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.